On this matter of scope creep, initially I thought it was someone performing a task they were not trained in, but the definition seems to have changed. It now seems to be someone doing a job they were not supposed to do, regardless of them being trained in or not. Now, who is complaining? Of course, it's our brothers from another mother. The effort and the sacrifices they've made throughout their lives to get to this prestigious position of being a doctor seems not to have been worth it, because if other individuals who have not gone through the same process can come out and do the juicy jobs that I wanted to do, hence the sacrifice, someone handed me a raw card. It's quite difficult to argue against them, in all honesty, because the argument they come through the door with is that of public interest, patient safety. And between you and I, in this NHS of ours, when someone says public safety, patient safety, everything goes zip. Let's analyze their claim. The homies claim if anyone other than themselves practices medicine, it is not in the best interest of patients, because they are not getting the creme de la creme of medical practice. And I disagree with it. As I told you in my previous video, value is subjective. Imagine one way to make the argument that cars are very important in our economy, be able to travel up and down, go to our various jobs, see our loved ones. However, we also acknowledge that cars can be very dangerous. Lots of people die from road accidents all the time. Imagine, based on that premise, I were to say everyone must then drive a Rolls Royce, because it takes about 6 months to make a Rolls Royce, might take a Toyota on their mass production chain to make one. Therefore, everyone must buy a Rolls Royce. Definitely tell me I'm out of my mind. But if the folks tell you for anyone other than themselves to practice medicine, it's not in the public interest, without thinking about the cost, you wouldn't say the same thing. What I'm trying to tell you is, when they tell you this concern about scope creep is because of patient safety, they are lying to you. They are not honest with you, and they are not honest with themselves. I say that because the question is, who is making the noise? Who is making these complaints? And this is from the BMA. The BMA is not your friend. The British Medical Association is a union. Purpose of a union is to protect the interests of the people within that group. If they were not doing that, that would be a bad union. And a union, to be effective, they must find a way to restrict access into that profession by any other person not of their union. If they tell you it's in your best interest, that is like a politician telling you their decisions are based on your best interest, not on the fact that they want to get votes to be re-elected. I'm not against the people trying to do what is in their best interest. But be honest, when politicians make certain decisions that you disagree with, you might think the decision they made is stupid, it's not beneficial, but it's very, very rational when their careers depend on that decision being made. When the doctors within the BMA tell you nobody else should practice medicine unless they are doctors, it's not because they care about the public, it's because they are protecting their own interests. That is, they are protecting their jobs. It does not sound nice, it's not very warm, it's not very fuzzy, but that is the blunt truth. Let's analyze this further. Based on what I've seen around, I think they have cause to be concerned. The United Kingdom is always a step behind the USA. Our issues, they are nurse practitioners. Today, they do a whole lot more than they were ever supposed to do. And this does not sit well with the folks over there. The people here have seen it, and they fear it will come here. The problem is, we look at medicine like something different than what it is. There's just individuals with knowledge, medical knowledge, providing their service to the public, to consumers. Why must there be a restriction on who can practice medicine? Why must there be a restriction on who can acquire this knowledge and then practice it? I'm not saying why must one be able to call themselves a doctor and why one not. Physician associates can go to the moon, we can go to Mars, we can go to Pluto. We are not doctors. If we were to call ourselves doctors, that would be called false advertisements. That is fraud. However, I'm a physician associate, I'm not a doctor, but I know X, Y, and Z, and I'm able to do it. Why should I not be able to do that for the mere fact that I'm not a doctor? You make the argument, how would the public know that you are competent and you are safe to practice? That is a good question, of course. But then, you and I also know that the term of a doctor means nothing. Hear me out. If the title of a doctor meant anything, when you were in the UK and you decide to go to USA for greener pastures, they wouldn't ask you to sit the USLME. Why did they ask you to sit that? Because they don't trust your title of a doctor. They want you to prove to them that you meet a certain criteria, you meet a certain standard. When folks from outside come to the UK that were doctors in their own respective countries practicing, they have to sit the PLAB because you don't trust the title of a doctor. The question is, what's in your head? What makes you think that because you have that title of a doctor, you somehow can put into your head knowledge that other people cannot? Let's assume you're a doctor in the UK. Take a plane, the USA, try to sit the USLM. One reason or the other you did not pass it is the fact that you were unable to pass that standardized test to get the license to practice within the USA. Does that mean your medical knowledge that you had acquired and were practicing within the UK, you lost it during the flight to the place? You just did not meet the standards they set. Why is it the standard they set over there different from the one you had in your country before you came there? Because they are doing the same thing you are trying to do here. They are trying to protect their jobs. In all actuality, does not mean you're not a doctor, you're not a good doctor. Medicine is complex. Things look very simple, but when you start reading about it, you try to look at it from a different perspective, things get all murky. I hear some of these doctors on the internet complaining that a lot of international medical graduate doctors come in here and there's a lot of competition and home students should have some advantage. To me, it's all BS. You want to enjoy the fruits of a capitalist market, but you don't want to pay the cost. The question is, as a whole, what benefits the economy? How are resources more efficiently allocated in a given market? Sometimes I also find sympathy with you because, of course, our health economy is rather socialized. It stifles this flow. So things go up, things go down. The real impact is not really felt. I wish you guys were paid 100,000 because think about it. Sometimes there'll be locum shift. You're a junior doctor, they are paying you £14 an hour. With your same head, with your same knowledge, suddenly you become more valuable. I don't know what the BMA rates are now going. I've not looked at it recently. But you were the same individual they were paying £14 an hour just 2 hours ago. There, the market economy speaks. You strike today, whether Sunak decides to budge or Stephen Barclay decides to budge or not. You people are wasting your time. What you have to be calling for is the end of the NHS. It does not sound nice. You'll ask yourself, how will people without means pay for their health services? And you'll be surprised. You don't have to be Mother Teresa. You don't have to be God. Allow individual adults to make their own decisions. Some will be more efficient than others, but that is the price of being in a free society. What I'm saying is, you people will strike today. Whatever the result is, 15 years, 10 years from now, you will have to strike again. Because inflation is a silent tax. If I come here, I tell you I want your money. You tell me I'm a bad politician. If I keep quiet and I print the money to do all the things you want me to do for you for free, because there's nothing like a free lunch, and then you have the inflation and you pay for it silently. Going back to the doctors, you guys cannot have the pay you think you deserve and also expect to have a functioning NHS. You cry about the staffing issue and there has to be a better planning, there has to be better this. It's not going to happen. It cannot happen because the individuals run the NHS. They are not smart enough. There are too many decisions to be made for you to expect 500 people, 1,000 people to be able to make it. How many people are within the UK? I think it's 60 million or so. Each individual has more knowledge about their own specific conditions than any administrator, head office, NHS personnel will ever have. Central planning does not work. The Soviets tried it, they paid the price for it. My own country, Ghana, they are trying it, they are paying the price for it. It does not work. If it were a free market, where people chose who they wanted to see, the same way people buy cars they want. Some people will buy a Tesla, some people will buy a Toyota, some people will buy a Mini, Fiat Punto, Audi Quattro. Let them buy what they want. Why must somebody's healthcare be better than another person because of their money? But with the NHS, we can all have the same. Please. Life is unfair. That is just what it is. We cannot do anything about it. We just have to make choices within the limits we have. If physician associates are useless, if nurse practitioners advancing their skills are useless, and it's against the public interest, let the public decide for themselves. It's not your business. It's not the business of the government. It's not the business of the NHS. Let the individual person make that decision and pay the price accordingly. When it comes to scope creep, I don't think it can be stopped. If a physician associate is given the opportunity to learn about endoscopies, which according to the proponents of scope creep, physician associates, ANP, should never be doing. Why? Because they are not doctors. Not because they are not trained for it. The problem is because they are not doctors. But I've already told you, your title of a doctor means nothing. It means something in your country, but not elsewhere. When people go to medical school and they graduate, they go through their training and finally become consultants. It's not like you graduate from medical school, you sit there, then 10 years later, someone just awards you the title of the consultant. You get to be a consultant based on the multiple experiences you've had being a junior doctor, all the various exams you've sat, all the hoops you've had to jump through, and then at the end of the day, you CC. Now, some of the hoops, you and I know they're unnecessary. But somebody did it for their quip and you all have to suffer it. Much sympathy for you guys. But it is the continuous acquisition of knowledge that gets you to that senior role. My problem with this scope creep is, if you tell me someone is doing a job they are not trained for, I'll totally agree that should not be the case. But if you tell me someone should not be trained for a position because they were not supposed to do that, That I don't understand. So the question comes down to, can someone other than a doctor learn the procedure in such a way that it is safe for him to practice it? Answer is yes. There is nothing in medical school that cannot be learned outside of medical school. These are all restrictions put in place to control the supply and who becomes and who does not. You know, when you were in medical school, there were countless PowerPoint lectures you had that you could have as well stayed in your room and gone through the book and you would have come up with the same information. I would say this, for you to expect someone, physician associate and ACP, to practice and just stay doing the same thing they've been doing for 10 years and be content with doing that, it's ludicrous. They will rightly progress if given the opportunity. Should they do the saintly thing and say, I went to PA school to become a PA and I work under the supervision of a doctor. Therefore, even though I'm being given this opportunity, I should not do it because that'll be taking the job away from a future doctor and they need this training. Should a PA do that? Maybe on some occasions. Are you the one paying their light bills? Are you the one buying food for their children? Are you the one paying for their holidays? No. So why should... Come on, human beings are selfish creatures. That we all are. You are selfish, I'm selfish. We all think of our best interests. The landscape is squeezing around these doctors. The domain that was clearly defined as doctors only has been gradually eroded. They are not stupid. These are highly educated people. They see it coming. They don't like the smell of it. And as such, they'll rebel. I think there'll be casualties everywhere. Be it PAs, be it doctors, be it ACPs, insults flying left and right, disagreements. But none of this will be of any value if you are still within the NHS. I just want a free market. Let doctors get what they want based on their contribution to patients who are the customers in practice. Let physician associates get what they want in terms of their contribution to patients. Let ACPs get what they want as a result of their contribution to patients. If the patient finds you useful, they'll pay for your service. If they think you are useless, you're a waste of time, you are dangerous, they won't use your service. If they think you are fraud, you lied to them, they will sue you in court. The problem is not PAs, the problem is not doctors. The problem is we practice medicine in a system that is not fit for purpose. And we are putting plasters over cracks with the strikes, even with this, just talking left, right, center. Why don't they like us? Why don't they this? We should that. I find it fine because I know a day will come physician associates will unionize. I don't know whether it will be under the British Medical Association. That'll be absolutely ridiculous. The BMA is not your friend. The BMA is the friend of the doctors within it. Not even people that might become doctors in the future because they will price you out of the market. I know I'm saying some tough stuff, but they are true. And then when the PAs unionize, they will start singing the same music the brothers from another mother are singing. Why do I know this? I was procrastinating as usual on the internet and I came across, I think, a post by a physician associate in the USA who was complaining that nurse practitioners in the USA were earning more than physician associates. And of course, as soon as I saw the post, I started laughing. The bro sounded exactly like some of the junior doctors over here. He was showing stats of how long the PA course is compared to the nurse practitioner course, the requirements, the this, the that. I started laughing. The free market does not care about you. The question is, how are resources better? The question is, how are resources efficiently allocated? There is no guarantee that physician associates will thrive within this market. There is no guarantee. I shouldn't be laughing at these things, but I find them interesting. If you left it to me, I'll probably eliminate the PLAB too. And the doctors from India, from Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, when they come practice. Okay, if you allow me, then I'll go to the US. I'll eliminate the USLME as well. I like a free market. I think they say in July, Sunak will be releasing some new changes in terms of healthcare policy. It'll be interesting to see what comes out. Another thing I've noted also with my time off was the fact that people were making the argument that the UK was siphoning off doctors from underdeveloped countries and this was unethical. My goodness. Who do you guys think you are? God? Do you know the situation of that individual that decided to get a visa, book a ticket, leave their own country, their families, their friends, and come here to work? Do you know their life better than them? You want the benefits of a free society, market, supply, and demand. But when it is doing its action and it's against your own personal interest, you want to speak about ethics. The question is, if bro from Ghana, my own country, feels the Ghana economy is not helping and he has a highly regarded technical skill and that of medicine and he wants to take a flight to come to the UK to work, which part of this concerns you? It's none of your business. Let them make their own decision. And of course, it will be your business because you feel they are competing against you for training post. So what? When you take your flight from Gatwick, Heathrow, you go to Sydney, Australia, and you're trying to get greener pasture. You think you are not competing against any Aussie man or Aussie doctor over there. No. Or when you go to the US, think you are not competing against anyone over there. Let people decide. It's not like the UK government has a gun on the people there. Like when your medical doctors graduate, you must by force send them here. They feel it is better for them. That is why they are coming. They are certainly not the first doctors from their country to have come here. If they came here and people were being hanged left and right, do you think they would have told their brothers to come? No. As I tell you, value is subjective. Pay you get here that you think is pitiful, is nothing, it is that. For the homie back home, that is an upgrade. All kinds of balling. If their countries want to keep them in there, pay them better. The same way, if the UK, I saw something from the GMC warning about the alarming rate doctors are leaving the UK to practice elsewhere. Alarming. If the UK wants to keep the doctors here happy, pay them better. I don't think people go to Australia to look at that kangaroo with the big chest. No, because they think their situation will be better when they go there. That is why they go. So you want to keep your people here, pay them better. When I say pay them better, that does not mean there's a set price they are supposed to be paid. Pay them better means get rid of the NHS, let the market decide. If it is £200 an hour because of the limited amount of people that can provide the expertise, let them get that £250 an hour. They earned it. They spent years university gaining that knowledge. Let them earn it. If they are earning £250 an hour, and we can get other people from Malaysia, India, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Australia, America, and they come, they are also doctors and they are doing their job, and because of that, there is more supply than demand, and it comes down to £40 an hour. Let them earn that £40 an hour as well. The market does not care how you feel. What emerges is what we all have to deal with. It's your boy Yoti, and I'm out. Salute.